Hello and welcome to Sports Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe in Lagos. Austin, can you unmute yourself? We can't really hear you.
Sporting greetings to you, Cecilia, and of course, everyone joining us from different parts of the world. It's still an action-packed world of sports. And Cecilia, tonight I want to join the world to still celebrate Tobiloba.
I know.
What a story! She's still reaping the goodness of 2022.
Yeah, more recognitions definitely coming our way. There's so much to talk about on the show tonight. Of course, we'll talk about Nigeria Professional Football League. I mean, it's getting more interesting. A team is yet to lose. You know, despite the fact that we're on match day 9, we'll talk about that team later on the program. Also, we'll touch down on the Super Falcons. Not happy days for Super Falcons fans, especially Nigerians who love their darling team. Not happy days at all. But tonight, they will get another chance to see if they can get that win they've been chasing for a very, very long time. It's been 7 losses, I'm tired of counting. We'll also talk about, of course, the Champions League is tonight. Liverpool and Real Madrid, as you said, made in heaven, a match, one like that. They're also in action tonight. Man City, of course, and Leipzig, tomorrow's game. We will be touching down on that also. And let's not forget the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. They lost their opening game to Senegal, but then they will be playing Egypt host nation on Wednesday night. We'll also be talking about that. But first, Austin, of course, the big one, the news you started with Tobiloba Amusan being nominated as the World Breakthrough Athlete of the Year, the Laureus Awards. I mean, once you get a world record, it is normal. Once you're big, once you're successful, it keeps coming, and you'll be amazed, you know, at what you can actually get, you know, once you've been able to, you know, put yourself in that world map where everyone have no choice than just to recognize your greatness.
And indeed, it was a breakthrough year for Tobiloba Amusan in 2022. Cecilia, what a story. It's not just about what she did, but the way she did it, the consistency from the semifinals of that World Championship where she broke the world record, went on to win the final, came to the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, smashed the games record, and went on to win, I think, the Diamond League again, smashed the mixed record. She kept breaking records. She wasn't just winning, you know, and you said it rightly. When you hold the world record, of course, you dine with the big boys. And
that's what is happening.
Look, anybody can come out to say, oh, Austin is being biased or whatever.
No.
I love telling Toby's story because I know her story, because I saw her grow. And I saw the persistence, Cecilia, the courage, the never say die spirit. When you are down, you get up. She used to be called the nearly. Oh, she almost did it, girl, until she broke that record. And now she becomes the first Nigerian to be nominated for the Laureus Award. She totally deserves everything that is happening to her at the moment, Cecilia.
Obviously, let's take a look at our screen. Of course, you have other athletes that are also in this particular category. Nathan Chen of figure skating from the USA. He's also part of the Athletes Breakthrough Year for the year 2022. Carlos Alcaraz, youngest, world #1, also winning the US Open. That actually, you know, put him in a very good stead until injury happened. And of course, he missed out the Australian Open. Elena Rybakina, tennis, you know, Kazakhstan, you know, winning the Australian Open. Morocco men's national team, first team from Africa to get to the semifinals of the FIFA World Cup. And of course, you have the Scotty, the golfer from the USA, and we have Tobiloba Amusan, athlete Nigeria. For me, she's the only, track and field athlete that is actually here. The others, you know, you have football, you have tennis, 2 tennis players. These are the stars that you have for this particular Breakthrough Award. We're just hoping and praying that she's able to get this one, because the World Athlete of the Year, she couldn't get that. But then this particular one, she's in the running for it because of what she did, you know, in Oregon in the USA at the World Championships. And not just that, Austin talked about the Diamond League that she also won. And after that, she also went ahead, you know, to win a gold medal in Birmingham. I'm talking about the Commonwealth Games. That's how, whatever competitions she took part in 2022, that's something you need to understand. She won everything. Record level. So that's why I felt that this is it for her, because Morocco, yes, just the semi-final they went to, but she went from Birmingham to Austin. You understand what I'm talking about, right? I mean, from the Diamond League to the Commonwealth Games to the World Championships, setting all the records and, you know, just ensuring that, yes, her best just keep up and she never dropped the ball.
we're very objective, as journalists, and we stand for truth and integrity. Everyone nominated for this breakthrough category deserves to win it.
Yes.
But if the Laureus Awards wants to tell an inspiring story, if they want to tell a motivational story, if they want to, encourage someone who feels like they are down and out, then they should look at Toby Amusan and be inspired by a story.
Yes.
When she got to Oregon, let's start from there, Cecilia. When she went to that Adidas wall and wrote that someday the world will celebrate me, she spoke the things she's doing now into existence. Oh, I need that sort of faith, like a monster. She didn't know what was going to happen to her, but she went into that competition with everything that she had in her, telling her that you can rule your world. And this is the story today. So inspiring. I love it so much. And when I spoke to her at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, I said, Toby, keep giving the world things that will make them talk about you. And check, from the Birmingham Commonwealth Games, I want to be talking about Toby.
We've been talking about her.
We get to the Paris Olympics, and then she gets on that podium.
That's in 2024. We just can't wait for that to happen. And of course, Tobiloba Amusan, with the kind of form she's in, if that continues, no injuries, obviously you'll be looking at a gold medal at the Olympics. I mean, when was the last time we had that? Okay, I can't wait for that to happen. No pressure, Toby, but we know you can always deliver anytime you're right there on track. Okay, let's leave Toby because we can spend the whole show talking about the Laureus Awards because of the other people that have been nominated. For the men, you have the likes of Steph Curry and so many top stars there. Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal also made that for the men. Of course, Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe are also part of it. For the team, you have the England's women's national team, the Argentine national squad. Of course, they are all part of the nomination for that award. We'll just wait and see. Of course, our own Tobiloba Amusan, she's the one we're celebrating tonight. That's why the focus is obviously on her. So, Austin, let's touch down on the NPFL. Of course, games at the weekend. I mean, so many games played. I mean, the NPFL, Better Insurance is doing something on social media that people don't have a choice. And now everyone is following it. I was watching them on the stream, YouTube, and how many people that tuned in to actually watch them stream their games on YouTube, clear pictures, and of course they're streaming, they're playing well, they're getting the result, and so the boss and everything is Better Insurance still unbeaten after 9 games, 8 wins, just 1 draw. And look at the points that they've had so far this season. 5 points off any other 16. I think the closest is Enyimba to them. That's on 16 points. They are on 23. Okay, let's take a look at the results coming from. Okay, this is what you're looking. This is a group. The top. The Group A top 4. You have Better Insurance, Enyimba, Aqua United, and Plateau United. What I mentioned earlier now. For Better Insurance, how many wins they've had so far this season? 2 draws and 7 wins. Of course, you have 23 points. That's what they have from that. Then you have Enyimba. Enyimba for them, after 9 games, after 9 games, they've won 5, and of course, points. That's why they are on 16 points. And if you go down and look at what Aqua United have been able to do, 4 wins this season, 3 draws and 2 losses, but they're on 15 points. And you go to Plateau United on 9. They scored the highest numbers of goals this season. I think how many goals they scored the last time was 5-0. I thought they were going to continue on that, but then they lost to Gombe away from home. Let's take a look at the result before we move back to the table. What is looking like? Gombe United and Plateau United. That game ended 3-2. Of course, Plateau United losing that. Nassau United and Remo Stars ended 2-2, and the game between Better Insurance and Enyimba. Of course, Imade Osarenko, who just can't stop scoring, scored his 7th goal of the season. That was the goal that gave them a win over Enyimba in Benin City. Shooting Stars and Aqua United, this game ended. I mean, it has to be a draw. Aqua United was almost running away with the victory. At the time, it was 2-1. But somehow, the home team, Ibrahim Ajani, was able to score that goal just at the death when second half was almost over. All the goals scored, the 4 goals were scored in the first half of the game. Let's flip over to Group B games that were decided. Of course, Group B, where you have Bayelsa United and Enugu Rangers. Enugu Rangers, they're having it very tough this season. It was a 1-1 draw. Lobi Stars and Doma United, that game ended 2-0. Of course, the game between Sunshine Stars and Wiki Tourists won in Niger Tornadoes and Dakada FC. It ended 1-0 in favor, of course, of Dakada of Niger Tornadoes. Austin, I mean, there's some teams this season that are really surprising. I mean, the teams that you think they will come and they will struggle. But somehow, we start with that of Benin Insurance, of course. They're coming from the NNL. You think maybe they will struggle, but somehow this team have been able to sustain everything, the pressure. I mean, there's actually something that has been cast on. Everyone is looking at them. I mean, money has been put into place. They are well paid. They fly to different venues. How can they repay, the investment that they've gotten? But I mean, the results we're seeing everything.
Yeah, Cecilia, you just mentioned some of the things that are responsible for this fantastic display by Bendel Insurance in the first half of the league. And you see, remember, I always say that there are things you need to do before you get on the pitch to get the results. And let's re-emphasize that the Edo State government didn't just start this now that Bendel Insurance is going to the MPFL. It's that level of consistency. When you have a mindset that you want to use football for business, you're going to thrive. They got sponsorship, they got kid sponsorship, they enhanced the welfare of not just Bendel Insurance, but also Edo Queens. And they kept at it, led by Philip Schreiber and his passion for football. They came into the NPFL and then going. So I'm not surprised. After 9 matches, 7 wins, 2 draws, and they are still competing. Leading that group tells the story. That's the group that has former champions Eimba, former champions Plateau United, former champions Aqua United. They even have a traditional team in Shooting Stars. They have Kwa United, a team that did so well last season, made it to the continent, that has struggled to get just 1 point. You the story that is what you sow, you will reap. So clubs in the MPFL, not just the MPFL, football clubs in Nigeria should start seeing it that you need to invest to get the results. So shout out to Aimback. In fact, I was having a discussion with a colleague and I was saying, like, we should keep the average league season because of the things that I've seen, and it tells you that it can be competitive also. So shout out to Bendel Insurance for bossing the first half of the season, Cecilia.
Yeah, of course. Let's just take a look at Group B before I'll introduce the guest. Toby is actually in the studio today. Adequate Toby, not Toby Lobamusho. Okay, Group B, you have Lobby Stars still there after 9 games, 6 wins at 19 points. Sunshine Stars are second on the table after 9 games. They've had 4 wins this season and, of course, on 15 points. You have Abia Warriors. I mean, I'm surprised Abia Warriors is particularly at this position. But for Rivers United, we know why they're here. They've not played 2 games because they went, to the continent. They are 4th on the log. Toby Adeponji is in the studio tonight. Toby, I mean, when was the last time you were right here in Channel Studio? It's been like, I don't know, 4 years, 3 years. I can't remember. We're always on the field, I know that.
It's been a long time, but it's good to be back. I mean, we spent a lot of great moments on Channel Sport this morning and Sport tonight. And a lot of great memories. So it's feel great to be back. This is home for me.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for joining us tonight. Of course, Nigeria Professional Football League is getting our attention. The games that were, some of the games are decided over the weekend. We're taking a look at these games. And we started with Benin Insurance, what they've been doing so far in the season, especially the way they started. They've been able to sustain that. I mean, they play. We don't, like, you look at Benin Insurance, you're not seeing them having players from another team. Players from another team. I mean, they didn't really recruit from other teams. I mean, the team they had from NNL, they had to, keep in faith with them. They kept faith with the coach. There was a time he wasn't winning the NNL, and of course, the strikers were not scoring. There were complaints, let him go. But they gave him the chance. And of course, all the strikers were complaining they weren't scoring NNL. I mean, these guys have started scoring, firing. I mean, Monday Osayaka, for instance, 7 goals so far this season. Yeah,
to be honest, I mean, Benin Insurance is one of those teams I never give. I mean, those big opportunities in the season, I never rated them high. I mean, it's my biggest, surprise for the first round. I hope they can sustain this to the end of the season. But I mean, it's one team, majority of us that covered it doesn't give them a chance. I mean, and it's good to see them robbing these students into our faces. I mean, they came from the NNL. I mean, they had a good season in the NNL, but the preseason, before the season was not really superb. The Dozy tournament, I mean, they were not really good. I mean, a lot of pressure on the manager. We said, I don't think this team will compete. But I mean, they started the season a win to Aqua United, and they picked up the momentum. Like you said, maybe continue to really work for them. I mean, Mondo Diga has been part of this team close to like 4 years, a lot of years in the NNL. Continuity, they had a field experience. Osasokoro, who was playing for Rangers, joined them. Ebenezer might not be one striker who scored plenty of goals, but he came in with a lot of experience. And like you said, they kept the bulk of the players. You know, Imade from the university, Obasoge in goal, and they've really done well. Unbeaten in 9 games is superb. It's extraordinary performance. 3 away wins. They managed to just drop just 2 points at home this season. I mean, it's really, I mean, performance is really great. 23 points from possible 27 is really massive. Like I said, they're my biggest surprise of the first stanza. I never thought Ben Insurance would be here. I mean, after the first game, we felt, it is a fluke. It happened the second game. It is a fluke. I mean, they went on unbeaten for 9 games. It's really super. You need to give kudos to that player, like I mentioned, Obasoge. I mean, 7 clean sheets from 9 games. I mean,
that's surprising.
It's really, really superb. I mean, like I mentioned, Osasokoro with experience. Imade has scored, 6 goals for them. A lot of quality in there. And I'm really impressed. I want to see what they will offer in the second stanza. I hope they still got the energy to continue.
I hope they do too, because we really want to see Insurance what they can do. Especially, I wish it was a marathon. I mean, this is not a marathon. This is more like a sprint where you have to stop somewhere. They have the Super 6, because this is not it. Whatever happens this year is nothing except you're able to get into the Super 6 and get the trophy. So if you don't get into the Super 6 after now, then it's going to be a problem. Okay, now let's talk about Shooting Stars briefly. Now, Shooting Stars, you look at the position of Shooting Stars on the table. I mean, 7th on the log after 9 games, only 2 wins this season.
Shooting Stars I think, is one of the most disappointing teams for me. I mean, we rated them high. Yeah, I'm a fan of Shooting Stars.
I know. But that's why I'm bringing them up.
Honestly, after the performance in Dozy tournament, I mean, they've blown everybody out. Rangers and Yimba International. We felt, I mean, Oracle is one of the most experienced managers in the league, coach about close to 12 plus. MPFL teams, did well with Remorsas last season, took them to the continent. And then the kind of players they put up, Kesta, the middle of the park, Okachi Jordan from Ikorodu City, they got Agawa, who's played for Nobi Stars, and then Bamidele, Rangers goalkeeper. So you look at the squad they put together with Oracle experience, and also their performance during the preseason. I rated them high. A lot of MPFL experts also rated them high. And they the season started against Plateau United. In a winning advantage, they dropped 2 points. 3-1 they were leading. They allowed Plateau United to and they came on. They started struggling. It's really disappointing, to be honest. I think Shooting Stars is one of those disappointing things for me in the first round. I thought, I mean, they will currently be where Ben Insurance are, or maybe top 3 in the league right now. And like you said, it has been really struggle for them. They dropped about 6 points at home. This season, they managed to win games at home, struggle on the road. I mean, Okachi managed to just get 1 goal in a lot of games. Kesta at some point was not available. So I think Oracle is really feeling, Bringagubot is feeling a lot of pressure right now, because, I mean, the hopes and what they promised during the preseason is not what they are currently offering the fans. And I don't think the fans are really happy. So a lot of pressure on them in the second round. For me, like I said, they are one of the most disappointing teams for me in this first round. Okay,
Austin, I mean, Lobby Stars, of course, you look at Group B, they are topping the group. And that same group where you have Shooting Stars, you have Abia Warriors, Rivers United also in the group. Yes, Rivers United have been on the continent, but that's the reason you have them in that position. But Lobby Stars, I mean, how good have they been this season?
I think they just said to themselves that they need to be better than they were last season. They started well and then ended poorly, and it led to the sacking of the coach, Eddie Dombraye. And then from there, they just decided to, find a way to make good use of this average season. I think they've been good, very good, particularly in going away from home and picking some points. But that game against Wiki Tories that they lost 2-1 actually did just deflate their momentum a bit. But they're a lot better than what they were last season, and they definitely look good to make it out of that Group B for the Super 6. But hey, this is football where anything can happen. Toby is mourning the terrible display of Shooting Stars. They might come back now and do some and be better in the second stanza. Lobby Stars need to, keep their momentum going. Otherwise, the likes of Rivers United definitely will come back to get, their rightful place on the table. Abia Warriors is also a very decent team. Doma United, Toby, let's talk about Doma for a minute before we go on this break. They played 9, they won 3, lost 3, and they drawn 3. But I think they've even been a better team than most teams that we've been having in the MPFL.
Absolutely. One of those surprise package for me this season is Doma United. To be honest, I think, Austin, you got this right. I mean, most times when you came from the NNA, it's always very difficult to compete, especially in the ability league is, it's got a lot of twists. I mean, you need to really hop there. And Doma United, honestly, has really done well. I mean, the team very compact. they're not among the big boys. They can't even spend the money. They can't even attract the big players. And their coaches. I mean, Akinlade Onigbide this is the first time in this kind of level, and then to be there to manage the kind of situation they found themselves in the MPFL in the first round is really impressive. I think I'm really impressed. What Doma United has really done is one of those teams I'm hoping they survive. I'm really excited for private clubs. I want a lot of private clubs in the MPFL. And when I say, most of these private clubs, because we know their budget. I mean, they're tiny in terms of budget. They cannot attract the big players. They can attract the big coaches. And then when you pull up this kind of squad together, you're able to compete in a squad where you have Nobi Rivers United, Sunshine Stars and the rest. So you need to give kudos to them. I hope they can just sustain it. I think they've got it right. I mean, make sure that you look very solid at home, travel away from home, makes life difficult for your opponent, pick as much 1 or 2, 3 points away from home, look very solid at home. Now you can survive. And I hope they can sustain what they've done in this first round.
I hope so too. Doma United got us talking, beat Rangers, beat Rivers United, and they're just a newly promoted side. That's it. Let's go on this quick break now. When we come back, we'll still talk a little bit about the MPFL, and then we'll go to Egypt to see what's going on at the CAF Under-20 AFCON. Don't go anywhere. Stay. Welcome back, Sports Tonight, on your award-winning, sports-loving channels television. We're taking a look at the Nigeria Premier Football League. First round of action done. We're waiting for the second round before we get into the Super 6 and then get a champion. Toby Adepoji. I was going to say Toby Amusan. Toby Adepoji is in Lagos studio. He loves the MPF, and I was discussing what went down, what's been happening in this abridged season. Toby, I was having a conversation with Alfred Okoligwe, and I said, it's been so competitive, maybe we should just leave the abridged league.
Abridged league is a very interesting league. I like the abridged league as well. I mean, I've seen abridged league in different seasons. I mean, about 3 or 4 years ago, we had abridged league. It looks very interesting, but I mean, I don't think it will give you. It will not test the strength and the squad of your team, especially want to compete on the continent. I don't think 18 games is enough for you to really compete well on the continent. I don't think also, really give us a true situation about who you are. I mean, the strength of your squad, because I mean, abridged league looks like a competition. So we know what happens in the competition. 9 games, you can have those form.
Yeah.
But I mean, to test your strength, to really show that you have those quality, you need to run the marathon for 38 games. I mean, but 9 games, 18 games, to the Super 6 is also a kind of fun tournament. Super 6, Doma United can find themselves in Super 6 and win. Yeah. You just have to just find this good form in 3-4 games, and then you're up there. And before you know, you're champions. I mean, like for Benin Insurance, for example, like I said earlier, I mean, I didn't even rate them like they will be here. But it is an abridged league. They won the first game, they picked the momentum for Aqua, like, we can do it, why not? So I don't think I would agree with us retaining the abridged league. Maybe for financial reason, yes. But if you have the finance to do it, the 20-man league, 20 teams league, so to speak, and then it will give us 38 games per team, I will agree with that. But maybe for financial reason, I will agree with the abridged league. But to be honest, I don't think I really love the abridged league. I love the full league.
We understand where you're coming from, particularly when you're a fan of shooting stars. I totally agree with you that.
Yes, honestly, the abridged league history doesn't favor shooting stars. I think the last time they played the abridged league, they got relegated. So.
That's right. I wanted you to bring it yourself, But Toby, you're totally correct. Take, for instance, Kwara United, a team that did so well last season. Look at them now struggling. They are British League. Out of 9 matches, they've only gotten 1 victory. And Kwara United was so good that they made it to the continent. So you want, that level of consistency, and the abridged league can't give it to you. Cecilia, I know you are pumped up. You like what Bendel Insurance is doing in the league. Let's hope that it sustain the momentum and go all the way when the league resumes.
Yeah, bring the trophy. That's what is important. Yes, I mean, so much investment, so they actually need to, give something to the fans to be happy about. That's what we want. All right, let's go to Egypt, where the Flying Eagles of Nigeria will be taking on the host nation on Wednesday. But then their first game against Senegal, they lost by a lone goal. Yes, it was just a peep and edge, but then it was a loss. That was the opening game. And the media officer, if we're able to get through to him, he will be joining us on the program. We'll just have a chat with him. Sharif Abdullah, if he's able to join us from Cairo, we'll talk to him and what the team are currently going through, and of course, what we intend to see with this team. Toby, we saw this first game. Were you impressed by their performance?
Disappointing match day performance. If you consider what they did when they were preparing for the tournament, unbeaten in about close to like up to like 18 games or so. I mean, yes, you could consider the kind of opponent they played. Yes, a couple of a few MPFA clubs, a lot of grassroots teams in Abuja. But I mean, they play top games as well. They play Zambia. They play Zambia. They play another national team also when they were in Egypt, Morocco for the camping. So. But I think I didn't really what went wrong. I mean, they were a bit jittery in the first 15, 20 minutes. They find it very difficult to play on the wings. I saw them. I know, I understand the strength of this team is from the wing. Saki from the right, the other guy from the left. And I mean, they look very compact as well in the middle of the park. But it was obvious that they could not just play their kind of style. I don't know how much Senegal coaching could invest in studying them. I mean, they cut them out almost everywhere. I mean, they could not allow them. They ensure that the wings doesn't function. That guy in the middle of the park, they frustrated him to the extent that they got injured, and then they cut us on some occasion at the back. And so it was really disappointing performance. If you consider what they did preparing for that tournament, I felt, one point, I respect the Senegal team, to be honest. I mean, they had about 5 or 6 players from the Chan team. I mean, Senegal have also been doing a lot of good job in their country. The Senegal, if you have invested a lot in football, they've got a lot of things working for them. The African champions, the Chan champions. I mean, so you would give it to them. But I think it was really disappointing performance from London Boso boys. I know London Boso, like I heard from my sources, I mean, they ensured that there was not too much pressure on the boys. But the fact is, the pressure is already there. You're playing the host nation in your next game. They've got a Mozambique who did well against Egypt in the first game. So it makes it very difficult for you. And then this tournament is different from what we used to have in previous years, where you just go to the semi-final. I think there's a quarter-final somewhere before you get to the semi-final, then you have a chance, to pick the World Cup ticket. So, and then Lanaboso is not one manager that is popular among the fans. A lot of fans felt that he should not be here in 2023, still coaching under 20. So he needs to prove himself. He did well with the team in the WAFU tournament. But, I mean, the first game performance is really disappointing. I hope we find a solution to it. Like, I understand, the strength of this team is for them to function from the wings. If they can find the momentum, I think they will cause a lot of problems for the.
But you just mentioned that Senegalese allowed them to play that. So if you can play from the wings, I mean, you can decide to change your tactics. If it's not working for you.
Absolutely. I also think maybe that guy that got injured will also affected them, because I know that guy has been involved in this when it started. I mean, before they went to the WAFU, was very instrumental. They got to the WAFU. Was one of the best players for us in that tournament. So they got injured. I don't know about his fitness situation. If the MO was available,
would have been able to
tell us about the fitness situation of Daga. But I mean, if both also want to switch his formation, that it means people like Daga needs to play. Then you can maybe do more from the middle of the park. And then Ahmed that got red carded is one of those players I think he will also miss. I don't know. He was only in shape when he came on. Did well at the WAFU tournament. I know Ahmed is one of those clinical strikers that can get him go. So if Ahmed is suspended, that guy is doubtful, and then your wings did not really function in the first game. So I think also we're having a lot of worries right now before the game against Egypt on Wednesday.
Austin, you always talk about no pressure on when you're playing on the range tournament, but then Nigeria hasn't celebrated anything for a long while outside track and field, where they're giving us joy and the Commonwealth Games and everything. But when you talk about football, it's the gloom from 2022 till now. And then the Flying Eagles, they are in Egypt. Of course, the pressure will obviously be on them. You can't take that away from this team right now after losing their opening game.
So, Cecilia, the NFF will come out here and remind you that the Falconets gave us something to smile about at the World Cup.
The Falcons and the Flamingos, yes. I'm talking about the men's team. Come on, Austin. The men's team. Super Eagles first.
If you want to talk to them directly, come out straight. So let's know what you're talking about. I get what you mean, And yes, I still say no pressure. At this level, these boys just have talents that they want to expose. A lot of technical input can do, something for them. How fit were they? What's the level of their mentality? Senegal as a country has something good going for their football. You see, there's just something about when you get the momentum, you need to keep it going. So Senegal is not just winning on the pitch, they're also winning off the pitch. They are doing the right things that will inspire the guys at the lower age grades as they come up to the Teranga Lions. Are we doing the same thing? That's what we should ask ourselves, because in Nigeria, the moment you wear that jersey, everybody just expects you to go and win. And I was saying that record that the Flying Eagles have of, I think, 17 games unbeaten was going to be a distraction at this CAF Under-20 AFCON. Now that record is gone. Let's see the character and how they can bounce back against Egypt. I like what Ladamboso said after that defeat. He said they're going to learn from it. They made some mistakes. I'm also hoping that they will correct those mistakes. They needed to get into this competition with the form that they displayed at the WAFU B. But because at this level, you cannot just come out and start dropping names. Toby also mentioned that some football followers believe that Ladamboso shouldn't be the one leading the team at this stage. Those sort of things can distract preparations for a competition. We just need to support at this age grade level and do the things that you need to do, because they're still kids in a way. I know you'll come at me now and say, when you're 18, you're adults. But they are still kids in the sense that they are still learning a lot of things. How many footballing experience do they have under their careers? So let's be calm. I know it's tough. I'm speaking to Nigerians. Let's be calm. See what they can do against the host tomorrow, and then we can take it from there. But I saw some sparks of brilliance. They were not just coordinated. They lacked that finishing. They didn't know how to hold the ball and be creative with it. If they can just get all those things right against Egypt, they're a team that can, actually get us talking.
Yeah, sometimes when you lose your opening game, it kind of gives you this bounce. You lose your opening game, you now have the edge to go ahead and go far. We saw it with the Flamingos. Yes, that's on the 17th. That's girl women's football. But then after losing their opening game, somehow they woke up and they knew why they were here. Maybe that Jesus, as Austin mentioned at the beginning, where they were tired or a bit lethargic, but somehow that might just be the springboard for success in the next two games.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, like I also said, from a source, Boso, I think he handled the defeat very well. I mean, I heard the camp was really calm, was so angry about the boys, ensured that, they feel comfortable, to ensure that they put the defeat behind them. I mean, despite, we can say, yes, the opponent they played before the tournament were not really tough opponent. But you're unbeaten in 18 games, so it rings into your head like, we've not lost in 18 games, and we're losing our first game, a lot of pressure. But I think Boso handled that well, and I also agree with you that this could be a turnover for them. The players cannot realize that, this level is different. We defeated Zambia in Abuja. We had the good 2 games in Egypt before we came to in Morocco before we came to Egypt. So why not we can still do it? Like I also said, I don't think it's a bad team. A good team cannot be bad overnight. They've still got quality in the Adams. I hope it gets into the game very well. They need to be clinical. They need to be solid at the back. I think some few careless moments at the back. When the goalkeeper made that save, if you had some very faster centre backs, they should have cleared up of danger. So, and I also said we also created chances before Senegal scored. We could have even went ahead before took the lead before Senegal scored. So I hope they can find this momentum. I hope they can find this passion to go against Egypt. I saw Egypt against Mozambique. I don't think
they were not fantastic.
They're not fantastic. They are a beatable team. So, like I said, they go into that game like this is the new level for us, and this is a fresh start. We need to get this 3 points. Then we'll see what happens against Mozambique, and we'll progress more in the tournament.
Hopefully, they can do that. Now, let's talk about the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Before we talk about the Super Falcons of Nigeria, always smiling, but it's hard to smile these days because of what has been happening. Yes, I don't remember the last time we had a coach who had the opportunity to play so many games. I remember sometimes Falcons don't even get to play a game in 1 year. We saw that in 2018, 2019. What happened in 2019? But then, since he came, he's had the opportunity to play more games. Maybe that's the reason we're seeing those losses or something. There's so many games from the US tour, the Canada tour, the Turkey tourney. Now you have the Mexico Revelation Cup. So many tournaments he has played. But somehow, he has not been able to get the win that he had. When he came in, played CSK Moscow, finally, Falcons won a game. But somehow, Austin, after the Nations Cup, yes, everyone was disappointed. But now, at the Revelation Cup, we're seeing more revelation coming from the Super Falcons now. Yes, we may not have the bulk of the players that we want as usual. You always complain about that. Players are not available. I think we have more of that, apart from the Azizat of this world, and of course, the Okbayan Ozies. We have most of the players are here. And if you can grind out a win after 2 games, and then we're facing a team from South America, because when the Super Falcons started playing football, I don't think South America were even thinking of playing football. That's how it's been. So You're looking at a team 9-time champions, and then you're playing a team in South America, and you can't even grind out a win. And from what the coach has said over time, it's a learning process. I mean, we're learning from this. I mean, they've improved. You can't say you played Mexico and you're playing Colombia. You're saying it's an improvement from what you played against Mexico. We're not talking about France, Austin. We're not talking about Germany. We're not talking about England. We're talking about Colombia, Mexico, and now Costa Rica. What are your expectations tonight?
No expectations, Cecilia.